But the way they are playing tonight, they just looking side by side. And if anything, the Melbourne Tigers had the edge.
Benny Lewis from the corner, that's off. Loose ball goes to Damian Martin. He's fouled by Benny Lewis reaching in. Damian Martin right amongst it. He's got the tape over his nose to stop the bleeding. In the very first play, he pulls in a long rebound. He gets fouled.
That's got to be a distraction, having the nose taped up, but didn't bother him. He's a dynamo.
Redditch traveled.
He did changing of the pivot foot.
It usually happens at the top of the key.
You got choices at the top of the key, left or right. Sometimes when you're in the wing, you're generally being forced one way or the other by the defense. So probably have lesser choice. That might be some explanation, Steve, for what you've observed.
Lucas Walker needs to run the baseline.
This is where the Melbourne Tigers have had problems all season against the extended pressure. They've handled it quite well tonight. But throughout the course of the season, just even when they got it over the centre line and beat the press, they never really were able to execute half-court sets, really got them out of their flow of things. And not surprisingly, the Perth Wildcats trying to extend it here tonight.
That results in a turnover, at least the same 10. Nobody scored yet. Redditch, look at that passing by the Wildcats. Luke Neville on the end of 3 very quick, sharp passes. Tommy Greer gets it to Lucas Walker. He finds Allen. He's got nowhere to go. That's 3 seconds. You get 2 good looks, and then that's got to be a 3-second call, even if you're not counting.
That's it, isn't it, Steve? And he needed to dish that one out. He was amongst the traffic and didn't feel good down low and just got to kick that one out. And the ball movement becomes critical there. But well, there's a good reaching by Lucas Walker to knock it away from Sean Redditch. He thought he got fouled.
Allen, good hesitation, finds Greer, shoots that set shot from the corner. That's good. He made about 20 of them when I was watching him shoot before the game. Martin's foul. And Perth Wildcats are not shy, are they?
No, that time Damian Martin just outrunning the transition defense of the Melbourne Tigers, and Lucas Walker with the reaching.
Matty, then we guys had a warning. You're about to then we guys had a warning. You're touching the ball. Go.
2. Here we go. Mr. Walker. Here we go. 2.
Lucas Walker just giving the officials a little bit of advice about some of the goings-on of Sean Redditch.
I think the Wildcats do test the limits of the rules on their screens and defensively, just like the Brian Gorgon teams used to.
Well, they're up and in, and they're very aggressive.
Settle, guys. For the next one each.
Sean Redditch and Matty Burston going at it this time in the block-out situation.
Well, we'll just blow our whistle. I mean, okay, we will.
Yes.
You're always on the end of it.
Redditch with the aggressive trap. Greer to Burston. Allen, pull-up jump shot. That's good.
There is no hesitation. Oh, and there's a technical foul on Lucas Walker. He just got the warning as well down the other end. Just he needed to leave the ball alone. And because it's their second delay of game warning,
What's for delay again?
he just threw it to the ref. It's unnecessary and almost irrelevant, but there's no reason Lucas Walker should have been touching that ball.
Yeah, it wasn't like they didn't give him enough warning. They had like a full-on conversation about it.
Just 15 seconds earlier, and there's Kevin Lish.
Boy, that wasn't even close.
Uncharacteristically coming up short. Kevin Lish.
An 80% foul shooter on the season.
Yeah. So unusual. Back to a 10-point margin.
Reaching by Allen. Not a lot he could say there.
No.
In front of Ray Hunt.
And already, we've only been playing 2 minutes. And the Melbourne Tigers, that's their 5th foul for the quarter. So, it doesn't help when you throw in a technical. And Damien Martin coming up with a miss. So, some scoring opportunities going by for the Perth Wildcats. But that's a lot of fouls in 2 minutes of play. It's going to be a long game if they keep up this rate, the Melbourne Tigers.
Nobody wants to touch that thing. There's another trap. Tigers quickly get it up. Bursting. Runs over Wagstaff.
He did. The big fella, 6'10". And he's better off just coming to a stop. But I know they're in a press, but you don't want to be giving your big fella the ball out there. Just get it over and almost give up on that opportunity, because very few good things can happen. And there you see it. He's outside, just inside the three-point line, outside the keys, on the fly, and there's a sea of people in front of him. Yeah. Now, if you're giving it to him and there's no one in front of him, well, fair enough. But your big fellas, they don't want it on the fly like that, because they can't stop, pop, and change direction like the little fellas.
Well, that should be a turnover to the passer. Very poor decision. Lish. Redditch out top. Neville. That's just a bad pass by Luke Neville. Walker. Dribbles it to the wing. Lewis to Greer. Allen draws the D. Walker had 5 on the shot clock, and it was a good idea to let that one fly.
It was, and he shot it like he was supposed to shoot it as well. It's amazing the confidence that's been exuded from the Melbourne Tigers. The shackles are off.
Lish thought he was fouled. Allen skips it to Lewis. Tommy Greer back to Allen. He wants the high ball screen. He wants it from Burston. His pull-up jump shot just before the shot clock expires goes to Redditch. Lish. And he gets the score.
That is crafty by Kevin Lish. He sized up that situation, knew he had the more athletic Lucas Walker, and crafty move by the little fella just to draw that. See the jump in there, Steve? Just to make sure that there's going to be contact, and not a lot Lucas Walker could do about that. That's when you just got to go up straight with your hands straight up in the air. But
bonus, guys.
Give credit to Kevin Lish. Cagey move by a cagey veteran.
He went at him. He couldn't really time his jump. Just very heads-up play. Dorsey's back in for Melbourne.
Kevin Lish starting to get things going now. 10 points.
And with the pick, and he's grabbed. That'll be 2 in possession.
Unsportsmanlike foul call. So the wheels just starting to get a little shaky for the Melbourne Tigers. Not quite fallen off, but they might need a grease and oil change.
No line up, please.
Starting to get nervous.
You have to look at the scoreboard, because it looks like all Perth Wildcats here in the third quarter.
And if they had to hit their free throws, they'd be a lot closer as well. Tonight, the Perth Wildcats, 13 of 19 now. 14 of 19. Not shocking, but 15 to 21 for the game. 71%.
Lish on 12. Redditch off the mark. Loose ball will be run down by Wagstaff, but he's out of bounds. Ray Hunt right on top of that one. Perth just creeping back into it, down by 10 at halftime. The lead is now 7 for the Tigers.
And Trevor Gleeson goes small with Damien Martin, Kevin Lish on. He brings in the rookie, Josh Wilshire, into the game alongside Myron Allen. He's got Wilshire playing the 2 spot. Reaching foul. Sorry, Steve, Kevin Lynch.
Again, aggressive on that curl cut, turning the corner, not just settling for those tough perimeter shots with pressure all over him.
Might have got the benefit of the doubt on the continuation there. The foul was called pretty high, but they say Ron Dorsey, in the act of getting to the basket, goes to the line to shoot a couple. Matty Burston checks out of the game tonight. In comes Tim Lang. Burston's been very good, Steve. 11 points. He's got the 8 rebounds. So he's another one that's done well. Ron Dorsey with a miss. Hasn't yet to take a field goal attempt. And we've played 4 minutes in this 3rd quarter. And he misses both. Trigar with a foul. So everything going away from the Melbourne Tigers. Just looking a bit discombobulated at the moment.
Well, you have to just think back on it. Yeah, how are they up by 7 here in the 3rd quarter? They just have had nothing going their way.
Well, if they keep playing like this, they won't be for much longer. But Ron Dorsey, we talk about him at halftime being on fire, 7-11 from the field. They played 4 minutes and he's yet to take a field goal, Steve. Got to milk the man while he's hot. Getting plenty of touches and free throws.
They're not even close. Man, both of those were very short. These are good foul shooters that are going to the line. Dorsey for 3. That's long. Lang trying to reel it in. Loose ball. Jump ball possession arrow in favor of Perth.
This way, guys.
Wagstaff back in for Luke Neville.
You think of Ron Dorsey and coming off the bench, and you know, perhaps Trevor Gleeson may have mollycollared him a little bit too much this season, and just treat him with some tough loves, bring him off the bench and get him a little bit angry, and he's able to just come out and get the job done so far in the first half tonight.
Mollycoddle?
You know, just to treat too kindly or something, cuddly, treat too leniently. Never heard of that?
No.
Look it up, my friend.
Okay. Get my phone out.
Don't ask me to spell it.
Yeah, these phones, they help you out with the spelling. I love it. Higher brings it in for Perth. Redditch, he lines up his 3. That's short. Dorsey, Lang try and pull it in.
Some ironic cheers from the Melbourne Tigers faithful. 2nd team foul for the Perth Wildcats.
Don't run here.
Wilcher with Lish on him. He's not intimidated at all.
Just
against the Perth pressure. We've seen very experienced guards fold under this pressure of the Wildcats. Trigar, he travels. He is just all out of sorts.
He is, and he's been given no love tonight. Coming off the bench as he has the last handful of games, and not able to get it going at all tonight. Cameron Trigar, he's 0 of 2 from the field, with the Melbourne Tigers trailing it, leading it 50 to the Perth Wildcats 25.
Maybe I'll post it on YouTube.
No, don't.
Have you seen the footage? Project X.
Why make things any more complicated? Deal with the car finance experts first.
Welcome back, and there is the most famous Tiger of them all. It depends on whether you talk about Andrew Gaze or his father, Lindsay.
Oh, hang on, Linz.
And Man, what is Margaret here? Is your mom here?
Yeah. He's receiving life membership. Not that he needed it, but great stuff by the new owners of the Melbourne Tigers. Just trying to create a bit more of a tradition and formalise some of the recognition last week.
30 years as the head coach of the Melbourne Tigers?
He started in 1970, more than that, Steve. He started in 1970, and it would have been 2006. So a long time at the helm of the Melbourne Tigers. And great to see fans embrace wins tonight. Gave him a huge ovation, standing ovation for the great one.
Nobody deserves it more than him. Of course, the 6 legends honored last week got the lifetime membership from the players. And of course, you were one of those guys. It's great to see coaches and players being honored. Wagstaff at the three-point line. Allen with the impressive one-arm board again. Allen gives it to Tragra in his favorite spot on the elbow. No good. Lang keeps it alive.
Good work by Lang on the glass.
Allen finds Wilcher. That will be a charge, I believe, on Allen with the push.
Little out of control. We knew what he's doing. The penetration, the dish. Have a this. He spots Wilshere up, leaves his feet, and Jesse Wagstaff in good position. One of those ones you see from time to time when they pass it out that they'll let those go some of the times. But technically, it looked like a pretty good call, Steve.
Well, Lish did a good job of doing that on Allen on the alley-oop pass to Dorsey. So they probably picked something up in the scouting report. So he has a tendency to keep flying forward on the pass. Lish. Pull-up jumper outside the three-point line's an air ball.
A long way off to the right. Steve, when last weekend I was watching the Perth Wildcats against the Crocs, they had great ball movement and were able to distribute. Tonight, they going a lot more off the dribble. And a lot more terminal than what we saw when they were just making a mockery last week.
Allen finds Traga.
Great pass. Vision by Myron Allen. That's what he's capable of doing. The penetration and the dish. He's a pass-first point guard and likes to find the open man and does a good job with eyes in the back of his head to find Cam Traga trailing.
Lang reaches in with those long arms. Shot clock's down to 8. Perth just within striking distance. The Tigers, on the other hand, just keeping that a little bit of a cushion. Williamson to Wagstaff. Shot clock down to 2. His runner doesn't pitch the rim. That'll be a shot clock violation. Good heads-up play by Heyer, though. Almost got away with it.
He did. And going to the glass, that's what he does. He's got a great nose for the ball around the glass, and although he's undersized, he doesn't mind mixing it up. He's got a big defensive assignment now, trying to stay with Ron Dorsey.
Lang, contact, no call. Heyer amongst the trees pulls down the rebound.
Lang, fortunate enough to get called for a charge there, just pulled his way to the basket.
Redditch spins baseline, creates some space for himself, misses the sitter. That's normally what Traga does to most opponents. That should go back to Perth, and it does.
Trev Gleason, he doesn't agree with you.
Trevor Gleason right on that one. Thought it should have been his ball.
Well, he was a lot closer than you, Steve.
Yeah,
but
that's for sure.
and the way he's expressing his emotion, Sean Redditch, somewhat of a tough night at the office, but Sean Redditch, 3 of 7 from the field, 7 points. There's another sportsman line.
That won't count, but it'll be 2 in possession.
I think Myron Allen thinks he's got the 2 points, but there it is. Given what we saw in the first half, that was always going to be. And I tell you what, Steve, on that replay, you might be unlucky not to be getting the and one.
Yeah, no kidding.
On the possession.
We have seen.
When I first saw it in real time, I thought, oh no, that was well before I'd like the official call.
And that could be a big swing.
It could have been a let-off now.
Could have been a 4-point play, possibly a 7-point play.
6, I would have thought.
Let's see, 3, and then another 3, possibly. That's how I got carried away. I could either say I was carried away or my math is terrible. Take your pick. Wilson giving the Melbourne Tigers a little bit of a spark with his presence on the court. Allen pulling up, going left this time. Kurgan steps out of bounds. Allen's the one who's doing the most of the inspiring with his dribble penetration.
Trevor Gleeson this season has really tried to make a rebounder out of Cameron Tregar. And you know what? I think he has the potential to be a solid. He's never going to be a great rebounder. That's just not in his makeup. So he's paid the price for it. The last quarter of the season hasn't seen the same sort of playing time. He's gone from the league leading scorer to now being third on the table at 16.5 a game. And there you see just going a little too hard into Luke Neville.
It wasn't one or the other, was he? You know, Trevor Gleeson wanted him to drop the hammer on him if he's going to foul him.
Back on that play, yes. Back to 5-point game, Steve. So the Wildcats hanging around.
Wiltshire has handled all the pressure that Perth had tried to throw at him. Lang, some good footwork, maybe too good. No, he stepped out of bounds. Turnover number 18 for the Melbourne Tigers.
14 to the Wildcats, so they've been pretty generous as well, but 18, that is way too many.
That is a big number.
Anywhere but like that 12 to 15 is tolerable.
It's the third period.
That's for the game I'm talking about.
Robbins, good strong drive. Trevor Gleeson doesn't like that one. Thought it was a charge.
Doesn't like the way this is unfolding after a very good start. Have a look at the replay. Robbins goes in. Ooh, from that angle.
It looked like a charge to me.
You've made your point really clear, and we've got it.
Brett.
And he was very unlucky.
Not much more you can expect the defense to do. Perth Wildcats really going to the line. That's their 25th free throw attempt, 17 of 25, and we've still got another quarter of hoops to play.
Short on that one. Loose ball goes to Allen. Skips it ahead to Wilson. To Dorsey. Good pickup on that transition D. Allen. To Tregar. Lang, shot clock down to 5. Dorsey and Williamson. Williamson grabs it. Higher. Has the ball stolen. Thrown into the middle. Wilshire. Good hustle.
Expensive. They would have had the last shot. Greg Hire trying to throw it up for the alley-oop. Good defense. Well read by the Melbourne Tigers. Gives them the last crack at it for the third quarter.
Allen going left. Can't get the roll. Wagstaff will go for the long distance. At the distance, a little off to the left. Perth make a little bit of a run.